Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Chapter 36. JIXIAN. Since you've guessed that, let's not beat around the bush. What if that's actually the case? Chen Zhen said. JIXIAN didn't know whether to laugh or cry and said, such a big battle, just to get the exam questions. That Yan whatever. I really don't understand that Yan Fei. Kita and Zhou Wanyuan immediately turned pale. Xiang Cheng. Really? Zhou Wanyuan's face grew solemn. Chen Zhen said, it's just a guess, we won't know until it's confirmed. I hope not. To sell exam questions. JIXIAN scratched his head. The JIXIAN or JIXIAN colluding with the senior management of the organization, with the intent of stealing the exam questions, gave off an approaching science feel to it. Who's stealing the exam questions? Kita squinted and asked, who's behind Yan Fei? Chen Zhen shook his head slowly. No way ba. JIXIAN said, really I was just talking casually about it, that's too ridiculous, right? It's not ridiculous at all. Zhou Wanyuan said slowly, do you know how many people are taking the first class exam this year? JIXIAN looked puzzled, and Xiang Cheng sneered. Do you know how the people who have passed the examination will be arranged? Zhou Wanyuan asked again. You guys don't know the internal policy. After the first class comes out, they will select some people who are qualified in terms of political background, family background, resume, and exam score. These people will be transferred to the exorcism committee. It's like with civil servants, they take the written examination first, then go through the practical exam and then the interview. Oh. JIXIAN's head was surrounded with question marks. So. Zhou Wanyuan said, in this way, anyone who knows the exam questions can arrange their own people within the exorcism committee. Director Chen, ever since the task was assigned to me 3 months ago, you began to suspect this matter, right? Chen Zhen. Kita said, does the old Bhutan need to do it like this? She will retire in 3 years, Chen Zhen said. When she is 118 years old, she will retire. This is limited to our internal discussion, don't kill me guys. Xiang Cheng said lightly, infighting, I just knew it would be like this in the end. Whose team are we on now? Zhou Wanyuan said as she looked at Chen Zhen. Don't say it like that. Chen Zhen said casually, I don't have any selfish motives, otherwise, why would I assign this task to you rather than others? You know, Zhou Wanyuan, your dad, Teacher Zhou, is one of the graders. That's it ba, when do we start? Once we get the Luahun bell, we can start any time, Xiang Cheng said. The day after tomorrow is mid-July, so you consider things ba. Okay. Chen Zhen said, we'll spend today and tomorrow recuperating. We will start our plan tomorrow, so we'll end the meeting here now. You can really endure things, Chen Zhen. Zhou Wanyuan raised her eyebrows and stared at Chen Zhen. Chen Zhen said with a smile, Xiang can endure things better than me, he actually didn't punch me that day. I almost punched you that day. Xiang Cheng said casually. Chen Zhen went out and drove home. Everyone looked at the time, and they could only stay at Kita's house for the time being tonight. JIXIAN yawned, put on Kita's tiger hat, and staggered upstairs to sleep. This hat of yours is so cute, JIXIAN said. I also have dinosaurs and turtles, Kita said. Do you want to wear them? Okay, okay. JIXIAN said, lend me one to play with. Kita took JIXIAN upstairs and found a set of dinosaur plush pajamas that he had worn before. He gave it to him and said, you can only sleep on your side when you wear this, you can't fold the tail in. You're actually this good at being Mo, I couldn't tell at all. JIXIAN said. I also have a radish sleeping bag, Kita said. You can lie in it with a radish tassel nightcap. Xiang Cheng knocked on the door and came in. He saw JIXIAN wearing a green radish tassel nightcap and tunneling into a pointed fat white radish sleeping bag. Not bad, right? Kita had a camera out and was taking pictures for JIXIAN. Ha ha ha, what the hell is this But being mo while sleeping, who are you doing it for JIXIAN thought it was too funny, why would anyone use the sleeping bag? Xiang Cheng. JIXIAN patted his tail and said, do you want to play carrot fantasy? Xiang Cheng. Go to sleep. Xiang Cheng said angrily, coming in and taking the radish under his arm. Actually, I think team missions are very fun, the radish said to Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng. The radish asked again, why don't we also find the JIXIAN to leak us some exam questions ba? Xiang Cheng pulled JIXIAN out of the radish sleeping bag. JIXIAN said, when this mission is finished, will they give us bonus points? Sleep, Xiang Cheng said. JIXIAN said in the dark, you're so smart, you know everything, and you know about ghost power and that kind of thing. If you were in the exorcism committee, you would definitely be useful there ba. Xiang Cheng hugged JIXIAN in the dark and replied, you also saw, there's an endless amount of faction fighting and scheming. I'm not government official material. N, said JIXIAN, what will happen if Yanfei gets found out? It's hard to say, Xiang Cheng replied. Don't worry about this. 1, 2, 3, sleep. The next evening, JIXIAN heard Kita singing downstairs and woke up in a daze. Morning. Kita was shirtless and banging his head around as he baked a cake. It's already 4:30. JIXIAN yawned and said, is it still morning, huh? Where's Xiang Cheng? Kita put a glass of milk in front of JIXIAN and said, your man and Chen Zhen went out to take care of business, and Wan Yuan went home to find her dad. JIXIAN was red-faced and stared at the milk in front of him. Kita let out a few ha-has, put the cake in the cooler and began to whip the cream. He's not my boyfriend. JIXIAN said. He is, right? Kita said, don't be shy comrade JIXIAN. He's really not. JIXIAN suddenly remembered that Kita had said he was gay too the other day, but it was always strange to ask such a question right to one's face. JIXIAN told Kita a bit about the matters between himself and Xiang Cheng, and said, you also are, right? I think what he does is always very unpredictable Kita mused, I really can't say, could it be that he's actually a shell? JIXIAN. Don't scare me, okay? JIXIAN bellowed. Kita hurriedly said, he's definitely not, he doesn't seem like it at all If you like him so much, why don't you ask him yourself? JIXIAN replied, I. Kita. Kita could not understand JIXIAN's young maiden heart at all. JIXIAN thought, since Kita had already seen through it, he wouldn't bother to hide anything anymore. If you like someone, you have to say it. Kita said intently as he carefully squeezed out the whipped cream. But this kind of thing. JIXIAN said, shouldn't it be him who makes the first move? We need to put an end to chasing in the other direction Oh, true. Kita smoothed the cake and began to squeeze out icing flowers. When he finished, he brought it out and set it down in front of JIXIAN. He got a knife and fork and said, it's done. Let's start eating ba. JIXIAN said listlessly, isn't this the same as taking the cake and dunking it in cream and then eating it? This is art Kita said angrily, art. How is it the same? Okay, okay, JIXIAN watched as Kita cut him a piece of cake and carefully placed it on his plate. Kita asked, what do you like about great immortal Xiang? He's hot JIXIAN said. Is it just because he's hot? Kita asked. At first it was. JIXIAN said, but now I don't know what I like about him, I feel like he is both so warm and so cold, and very reliable. When I am with him, I feel at ease. Kita sighed and shook his head. Do you think I'm warm? Cold? JIXIAN, frustrated face. JIXIAN thought, you haven't also started to like me, right? You. Is there anyone you like? JIXIAN asked tentatively. No. Kita looked puzzled. But that doesn't mean I can't come out, does it? JIXIAN nodded approvingly, rejoicing inside. It seems I am too Mary Sue. He said, nothing can stop a gay man from coming out. I understand. Kita and JIXIAN high-fived and ate cake as if nothing happened. But why do they want to pair you up with Zhou Wanyuan? JIXIAN swallowed some of the love cake that Kita had made himself. Be careful, don't touch the flour, I worked really hard and squeezed it out with great difficulty. How can you eat without touching the flours? JIXIAN said, why don't we let it dry out and hang it up then eat it all at once. Hey, that's it? Kita said, it's art ma. JIXIAN. Because I am the grey wolf. Kita said, Zhou Wanyuan is the white deer. What? JIXIAN didn't understand. The Zhou family inherited the white deer bloodline. Kita said, the Gagantorura family has the blood of the grey wolf running through their veins. The grey wolf and white deer are the god of the steppes beyond the wall. Every generation of the grey wolf will either marry, be great brothers, or be best gay friends with the white deer descendant, understand? Is she Mongolian, too? JIXIAN asked. Kita shook his head and said, the grey wolf is Mongolian, and the white deer is Han, symbolizing the centuries-old alliance between the Mongolian and the Han people. JIXIAN understood more or less and nodded sympathetically. He said, you can be sworn brother and sister with her ma. Kita said, according to the family's rules, if the grey wolf and the white deer are a boy and a girl, they must get married. Only if they're both men, then. JIXIAN, they can be gay friends. Sworn brothers. Kita replied. All right. JIXIAN said, I understand, but right now your sexualities are different, and you can't fall in love. Kita shook his head helplessly, and JIXIAN asked, what kind do you like? More delicate and charming. Kita said, the more delicate and charming the better. They have to be men, not women. I like those cross-dressing shows the best, but Yandere shows are also very cute, the girlier the better. If there really aren't any, I can manage with an effort a cross-dressing gong. It's alright, but it's going to take more effort. You understand, getting a gong to switch isn't that easy. What the hell do I understand? Why do you think I can understand this? JIXIAN really couldn't understand, since he liked the cross-dressing kind, then why couldn't he fall in love with someone like Zhou Wanyuan? Forget it. Or what about I try out pretending that I like you, and then we see how Xiang Cheng reacts. An enthusiastic Kita began to offer JIXIAN advice. JIXIAN thought, this seems to be an option, but would it mess things up? Let's leave it for later. JIXIAN's heart tickled a bit, and he imagined himself living independently from the world, being fought over by two high-quality men like in a big Korean drama, and said, after we're done with the case, we can try. All right. Kita said, I'm in charge of helping you capture great immortal Xiang, and you help me find a good match. No problem. JIXIAN thought, could I get the Design Institute's financial gig to put on rabbit ears, a bikini, and some makeup, then introduce him to Kita. So, the two of them high-fived again, reaching an agreement. At 9 o'clock in the evening, the car stopped outside Cigarette Alley. Besides the Hauerhei bar area, many shops on the street were closed, with only their yellow lights on outside. When JIXIAN got out of the car and entered the street, he noticed people sitting outside several shops, looking up at him and Kita. They're all from my department. Kita explained, it's not a problem. JIXIAN nodded, looked up at the signboard that said Ruyi Inn. The corridor was dark and narrow, the wooden ladder let out squeaking noises, and the voice of Zhou Wanyuan sounded from above. "That's probably Kita," Zhou Wanyuan said. "Coming." Kita steadied the ladder with a hand and let JIXIAN go up first. JIXIAN gingerly went up and slid open a Japanese tatami room door. It was a small room of less than 10 square meters, with only one hanging light swaying back and forth. 4 tea trays were set out on the table. Xiang Cheng was sitting cross-legged with headphones on, his back to the floor-to-ceiling window, and he was looking at the night view outside. When he felt the vibrations of the wooden floor, he glanced back. "I thought I told you guys not to come," Xiang Cheng said. JIXIAN didn't know at all, and Chen Zhen said, "Since you came, sit ba." JIXIAN asked, "What time do we start?" 12 o'clock. Xiang Cheng replied, "Have you eaten yet?" JIXIAN nodded. Zhou Wanyuan and Kita each leaned in a corner, concentrating on playing with their cell phones. Chen Zhen kept fiddling with a pocket watch in his hand, waiting for midnight to arrive. JIXIAN was a little nervous and picked up Xiang Cheng's earphones. He was listening to the only song on the phone, 123 Pinocchio, in an infinite loop. "Should I remove myself later?" Xiang Cheng didn't answer and JIXIAN turned his head to look at Chen Zhen. "Ask Xiang Cheng." Chen Zhen replied absent-mindedly. Xiang Cheng turned his head to look at JIXIAN, seeming to waver a bit. JIXIAN kept feeling like the atmosphere was a bit strange, but he didn't know why, so he looked at Xiang Cheng questioningly. Xiang Cheng seemed to think for a long time before finally replying, "Do you want to stay? Are you not afraid?" "Of course not," JIXIAN replied. Xiang Cheng nodded and said, "Then keep me company ba." Chen Zhen played with the pocket watch in his hand, and from time to time, he glanced at JIXIAN. JIXIAN felt that he had something to say to him, so he took off the earphones and sat over by him. "Who is this?" JIXIAN saw a picture of 2 youths in his pocket watch. One was Chen Zhen, and the other was a child half a head shorter than him. "My little brother," Chen Zhen replied. JIXIAN nodded, thinking this is probably another sad story, but Chen Zhen saw his expression and said, not knowing whether to cry or laugh, "He's still alive, no need to comfort me." "Oh. How is Xiao Lang?" Kita casually asked. "The same as before," Chen Zhen replied, "He's in good health. Xiao Lang and Xiaoduo should be able to become good friends." Kita added, "You might as well introduce them to each other in your spare time." "Xiao Lang is your little brother?" Xiaoduo asked. "N." Chen Zhen nodded, putting away his pocket watch and said, "He is a triple loss." "Triple loss?" Xiang Cheng heard and frowned slightly. "He's deaf, mute, and blind." Chen Zhen explained, "The outside world is completely cut off from him, and he can only communicate based on his sense of touch." Xiaoduo nodded, suddenly feeling very sad. It must not be very easy for Chen Zhen to take care of such a little brother. "Is his condition treatable?" Xiang Cheng asked. Xiaoduo thought, if it's congenital, it must be very hard, right? But Chen Zhen replied, "They say that there is hope, but I dare not make a reckless attempt. Let's first play flying chess ba." Zhou Wanyuan said, "I heard my dad say that with the magic of opening up the 7 orifices, he can spread his perception into the world around him. There was a girl in Guangzhou named Yulan." "I know." While playing chess, Kita said, "The 4 seasons are like a painting, and the heart blooms at the sight of flowers. Dishuman's daughter, I have always been very curious about how her mother helped her get this power. That girl herself also had strong spiritual power ba." Chen Zhen spread out the chess pieces and said, "By nature, for congenital conditions in us abnormal people, our bodies all have strange powers inside of them, and it's because of this spiritual power that dwells inside the body, that he is deaf and blind." "But what about by nurture?" Xiaoduo asked. By nurture will be different, of course. Chen Zhen said. JIXIAN nodded, and Zhou Wanyuan said, when there's time, bring him out, and I'll have my dad take a look at him. But I mainly don't want him to enter this line of work. Chen Zhen said, I have the same thoughts as Xiang Xiang on this matter. JIXIAN glanced at Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng was wearing headphones, rolling dice, and moving airplanes. 2 hours later. Bring out the Luohun bell. Xiang Cheng said, get ready to start. Chen Zhen packed up the game board, looked at Kita and Zhou Wanyuan, and the two people consciously left. I have to control the Luohun bell. Chen Zhen thought for a moment and said, so Xiaoduo, I will need to ask for your help for a bit. No problem, Xiaoduo said. Tell me what to do. Xiang Cheng said, you're with me, inviting in the JIXIAN. Okay. Xiaoduo was both nervous and excited. Chen Zhen said, wait a minute first, I'm going to use the Luohun bell to take away part of Xiang Cheng's hanpo and turn him into a normal person. Xiang Cheng, are you sure about this? Xiang Cheng nodded and looked at Xiaoduo uneasily. Well then. Relax a bit. Chen Zhen opened the bag, took out a small cloth bag. He carefully opened the cloth bag and revealed a bronze bell with golden patterns inside. Then he took out another sandalwood box. Xiang Cheng seemed a little nervous and looked at the bell. This is the Luohun bell? Xiaoduo asked. I managed to borrow it with great difficulty, Chen Zhen nodded. It's very dangerous. Xiaoduo asked, how do you use it? You'll know in a bit. Chen Zhen said and asked Xiang Cheng, your name is just Xiang Cheng, right? Xiang Chenchi, Xiang Cheng replied, is my original name. Chen Zhen nodded, took out a strange bell hammer from the sandalwood box, and said, you know how to use it, right? When I call your name, you can answer or not answer me. Xiang Cheng nodded. Xiaoduo put his hand over his big hand, and they held hands. The soul returns to the netherworld, and the force of Dao is created by nature. Chen Zhen murmured, Xiang Chenchi. Here, Xiang Cheng replied. At the moment Xiang Cheng answered here, the bell hammer lit up. Chen Zhen held the Luohun bell in one hand and knocked on the bell with the bell hammer in the other hand. The dang sound was dull, and the bell lit up. Xiaoduo. Xiang Cheng's facial expression was extremely pained. The bell's markings emitted a golden light, while a shadow of a cyan snake appeared on Xiang Cheng's body. It was as if it was struggling frantically against the magical power of the Luohun bell. Relax a bit, Chen Zhen said. Xiang Chenchi. Xiang Cheng was trying his best to endure and was obviously in great pain. Xiaoduo was busy hugging him, and Xiang Cheng fell on Xiaoduo's shoulder. Chen Zhen rang the bell again, and there was a loud buzzing noise. Gold and blue light filled the room, and that spirit-like snake made of light was sucked in by the Luohun bell. Chen Zhen quickly collected the Luohun bell in the cloth bag. Xiang Cheng lay in Xiaoduo's arms, convulsing uncontrollably, cold sweat all over his body. Is he okay? He should be all right. Chen Zhen came forward, touched Xiang Cheng's forehead, and said, let me see, Kita. Kita and Zhou Wanyuan came in. Half an hour later, Xiang Cheng woke up, and Chen Zhen asked, can you keep going? Xiang Cheng nodded, his back drenched in sweat. Xiaoduo unscrewed the mineral water and fed him a few sips. Xiang Cheng's face was pale, and his eyes looked deep. He said, let's start ba. Rest some more. Zhou Wanyuan said anxiously, does it feel really bad? Chen Zhen replied, he should be okay. It was also my first time using the Luohun bell. It's too terrifying. Xiaoduo said, can this magic weapon collect anyone's hanpo? Yes. Chen Zhen nodded and said, if you were experimenting with normal people just now, you would die right away. Kita asked, what about if it was used on us? the effect would be the same. Chen Zhen said, it depends on the strength of one's hanpo. Exorcists can persist for 6 hours, but if it still doesn't return to one's body, they will become a corpse. Then you. Zhi Ziaduo looked at Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng waved his hand and said, let's wait a bit to talk. It's almost 12, let's start ba. The JIXIAN has never seen Ziaduo before. Chen Zhen said, Xiang Cheng, you try your best not to show your face, while the three of us will hide. Wan Yuan, I'll have to trouble you to deal with Xiang Cheng's voice for a bit. Zhou Wan Yuan let out an N, took out a bottle of perfume from her handbag, and sprayed the three of them with a bit of it. What is this? Kita sneezed. It's for concealment. Zhou Wan Yuan said, Lao Niang doesn't even want to use it on you. All right. Chen Zhen said, Xiang Cheng, are you feeling better? Xiang Cheng let out an N, and Zhou Wan Yuan handed Xiang Cheng a piece of jade and said, press it beneath your tongue. Xiang Cheng complied and Chen Zhen said, let's start ba. Then he turned off the lights and said, from now on, none of you should speak. The room was completely dark. Xiang Cheng groped around a bit, found some candles underneath the table and lit them. In the dark room, the atmosphere was very strange. Do you know how to summon the JIXIAN? Xiang Cheng asked, I don't know how to summon it. Zhi Ziaduo had checked the information online yesterday and knew something about it. He said, I'll try. Chen Zhen said, there is paper under the table. Zhi Ziaduo found the paper. In the quiet night, there was a candle on the table, and Xiang Cheng asked, do we need to drip any blood? It looks like you need to drip some on the edge of the plate. Zhi Ziaduo said. Xiang Cheng cut his finger with a nail clipper attached to his keys and dripped a drop of blood on the edge of the dish. The blood slowly slipped down and formed a ghastly picture on the white porcelain plate. This is the pointer. Zhi Ziaduo wrote 1 to 9 in Arabic numerals on the paper and wrote yes and no in separate spots. Zhi Ziaduo also wrote down person, animal, I don't know, don't ask any more, maybe, very, tall, handsome, and rich, and so on. Everyone. Is this a friendly JIXIAN? Zhou Wan Yuan asked coldly as she stood behind Zhi Ziaduo. Kita burst out laughing and said, so cute. Okay. Zhi Ziaduo bandaged Xiang Cheng's finger with a paper towel and said, it seems that's it, let's go ba. Xiang Cheng and Zhi Ziaduo put one finger on each side of the porcelain plate. Xiang Cheng blew out the candle, and a wisp of green smoke floated up. JIXIAN, JIXIAN. Zhi Ziaduo said, please come quickly. Xiang Cheng. 10 minutes passed. JIXIAN, JIXIAN. Zhi Ziaduo was a little sleepy and said, come quickly, I'm about to fall asleep. Xiang Cheng was silent as always. Zhi Ziaduo stared at the plate dully, his eyes adapted to the darkness, and there was a little green light reflected on the plate. How? Zhou Wan Yuan also discovered the light. SHH. Kita immediately stopped Zhou Wan Yuan from talking. The light in Zhi Ziaduo's eye grew brighter and brighter. He raised his eyes and looked at Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng's face was gaunt and focused, and he also raised his eyes in the green light and stared at Zhi Ziaduo. We can't invite it, Xiang Cheng said. In front of them, the light in Zhi Ziaduo's left eye was very bright. In this darkness, it even could serve as weakly lighting up the room. Zhi Ziaduo covered his left eye with one hand. Uncomfortable? Xiang Cheng asked. Zhi Ziaduo shook his head. We can't invite it, said Zhi Ziaduo. It won't come. Your fingers are moving. Xiang Cheng said in the dark. His voice was different from before and had become much heavier. No ah. Zhi Ziaduo felt the plate sliding towards Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng put his fingers against it, felt the pressure and stopped talking immediately. Are you moving it? Zhi Ziaduo asked. Xiang Cheng. Neither of them spoke. Although JIXIAN was already able to accept ghosts and monsters, the moment he felt the plate move on its own, there was still a feeling of his hair standing on end. The plate was moving. JIXIAN. JIXIAN was pretty much numb from head to foot, but he gritted his teeth and asked, "Are you here?" The porcelain plate began to rotate slowly and made a light sound on the table. JIXIAN felt that there was a force holding his fingers upward, and so he raised his hand slightly. The porcelain plate flew through the air. JIXIAN. Xiang Cheng was silent. JIXIAN. JIXIAN's voice trembled. The porcelain plate rotated, and just like JIXIAN had seen in the photo last time, it left the table and floated up. The porcelain plate turned slightly, and that blood, forming a straight line, dragged on the edge of the plate and pointed to yes. JIXIAN's first thought was to scream and retreat, but he had to restrain himself. "Next, we have to, yes," JIXIAN said in a trembling voice, "ask, right, ask questions, N." End chapter. Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Chapter 37. Ghost Market. Xiang Cheng said in the dark, "What should we ask?" "What should we ask?" JIXIAN said, "What do you want to ask?" "I don't know," Xiang Cheng said, then stretched out his feet under the low table and touched JIXIAN. JIXIAN calmed down a little, and holding Xiang Cheng's foot between his 2 feet, he nodded. "Ask." "Let me ask something, ba," JIXIAN said. "Don't be nervous," Xiang Cheng said. "Ask whatever you want." "N," JIXIAN said, "JIXIAN, is Xiang Cheng a 0 or 1? "Everyone." "Xiang Cheng. What do you mean?" Xiang Cheng asked confusedly in the dark. "Nothing." JIXIAN wiped his sweat. "I'm talking nonsense, let's change to another one, ba." "But what should I switch to?" "No way, ba." "JIXIAN, you even know that, The porcelain plate rotated slowly. JIXIAN thought, it's over, if it stops on 0, I don't want to live anymore. Finally, the blood pointer on the porcelain plate stopped on no. JIXIAN thought, what the hell is no, This is a multiple choice question, not a yes or no question, okay. JIXIAN said, "JIXIAN, can you know what I think in my mind? If I don't ask out loud, is that okay?" Everyone present thought, do you think the JIXIAN is an echo within your stomach? The porcelain plate rotated and stopped on don't know. JIXIAN thought, then I better not ask if Xiang Cheng likes me or not, that's really awkward, I'll ask something else, ba. JIXIAN, K. JIXIAN wanted to ask, will Kita find someone he likes, but on second thought, if he asked using Kita's name, and the JIXIAN noticed that Kita was an exorcist, wouldn't it be a big mess, so he changed his mind and asked, can you tell me how much money Wang Ren's Design Institute will make next year? Everyone. Who was Wang Ren? But that wasn't important. JIXIAN just randomly found something to ask, and he couldn't let it notice their identities as exorcists, so he could only ask about unimportant, unrelated people. In fact, JIXIAN didn't care at all how much money Wang Ren would make. The JIXIAN stopped on 3. JIXIAN thought, this is really too much, it's such a good chance, but I can't ask anything, so depressing. JIXIAN, please tell me, JIXIAN said, in the water supply and drainage construction specifications, what is the maximum multiple that the outer diameter can be to the welded elbow of a bent steel pipe? Everyone. No. JIXIAN said, JIXIAN, I have a question I've wanted to ask for a long time. Who killed President Kennedy? Porcelain plate. What did you ask? Xiang Cheng was dumbfounded. JIXIAN was also confused. The porcelain plate revolved around and finally stopped at don't know. What can I ask? I can't ask anything. In front of so many people, I can't ask if Xiang Cheng likes me or not, I can't ask if we'll pass the first class certification or not, I can't ask if I'll have a boyfriend in the future. JIXIAN was going crazy. It couldn't be that he should make an equation for the JIXIAN to calculate the displacement with calculus. JIXIAN thought of a question to ask. JIXIAN pondered for a moment and said, can I still see my parents? No, will I have a chance to see my dad in the future? The JIXIAN turned to yes. What about my mom? JIXIAN asked. The JIXIAN stayed on yes. I don't have any more questions, JIXIAN said. JIXIAN, bye-bye. The porcelain plate began to shake slightly. JIXIAN. Xiang Cheng said, we have no more questions. JIXIAN, see you later. We can't say see you later. JIXIAN corrected. Xiang Cheng let out an N sound and seemed to be thinking. The porcelain plate clattered and fell on the table. It was gone. JIXIAN sighed, put down his left hand covering his eyes, and Xiang Cheng said, what were you asking? JIXIAN laughed and didn't say anything. Chen Zhen turned on the light and said, getting your soul pulled out twice in 24 hours, how do you feel? This time, it didn't feel as obvious, Xiang Cheng said. Just a little empty. With all the lights on in the room, Kita stretched and said, next, there's just. At the moment when JIXIAN turned his head, his pupils couldn't adapt to the light and widened slightly. Under the eye-piercing light, he saw it. On the other side of the table stood an old man without any facial features. The JIXIAN hadn't left yet. JIXIAN. He's still here. JIXIAN shouted. Chen Zhen froze, then immediately reacted. However, the faceless old man acted faster than them. There was a bang, and Zhou Wanyuan screamed, broke through the paper door, and fell out. Chen Zhen had just unzipped his bag when the old man hit him once with the cane in his hand. Chen Zhen. Kita roared. Kita struck out with both fists simultaneously, and the ghostly image of a wolf burst out. Chen Zhen took out the Luohun bell, but before it could ring, the old man waved his cane gently. The window door and roof facing the street were smashed, and several black monsters rushed down. Chen Zhen was thrown out to the corridor, and the Luohun bell fell to the side. Xiang Cheng pulled out the demon-subduing staff and rushed at the JIXIAN, but his movements were obviously slower than before. JIXIAN scrambled away, fled to the corridor, and picked up the Luohun bell. Chen Zhen roared, throw it to me. I can't find the hammer. JIXIAN shouted. Xiang Cheng jumped on the old man, but the old man raised his hand. A magic symbol appeared and with a buzzing sound, flew towards Xiang Cheng. The moment Xiang Cheng flew away, Chen Zhen raised up the Luohun bell to block the JIXIAN from everyone else. In an instant, the golden light of the Luohun bell exploded outwards. The inscriptions on the body of the bell seemed to form a huge suction force, which sucked the Yao around towards the bell. The JIXIAN stood still, and as soon as the cane hit the ground, a magical array appeared. The array rotated at high speed, and a beam of strong light collided with the Luohun bell. The Luohun bell went out of control, humming as it shot out golden light. The souls imprisoned within the bell shot out, rotating around the room like a revolving lantern, countless souls slipping their bonds with a shua sound. They all screamed at them. JIXIAN's eyes were blurred, and Xiang Cheng pulled him over, pushing him behind him. With a flick of the faceless old man's finger, a beam of light flew out and hit the Luohun bell. A dang rang out as the bell shook wildly, and everyone started yelling. Everyone resisted the strong suction force of the Luohun bell, and in that brief moment, JIXIAN, whose pupils were still slightly unfocused, felt something pull straight past him. Xiang Cheng. JIXIAN quickly hugged Xiang Cheng's waist. The two people went chua, and their vision went black. The old man dispersed his magical array and the light around the Luahun bell gathered up. The JIXIAN's face distorted, a mouth appeared, it grinned, and then jumped on a Yao dog's back. With a shua, it flew up high, then turned around and flew away. Everyone looked at each other. Chen Zhen was sickly pale and panting. The Luahun bell fell to the ground with a dang, whirling around on the ground. "Are we in big trouble?" Kita said. Xiang Cheng fell to his knees, holding Zhi Ziyaduo as they both laid there on their sides. They let out a muffled sound and fell to the ground. "Xiang Cheng!" Chen Zhen shouted anxiously, "Zhi Ziyaduo!" The night of the Hungry Ghost Festival. In the distant night sky, there was a huge city. The stars were the city's light, and glowing souls flit through the sky. On this night, the whole city of Beijing was illuminated by lights, but it was being overshadowed by a different kind of light. In the southeast sky and the northwest sky, huge floating drums were set up in both directions. A glowing, bare-chested giant was beating the drums with all his might. "What exactly is this?" Zhi Ziyaduo said. Caught in the flood of souls, Zhi Ziyaduo flew past. A noisy bustle rang in his ears. The lights were as bright as day in front of him and huge floating lanterns were all around with the word ghost was written on all the lanterns. "Ziyaduo!" Xiang Cheng dispelled the ghost in front of him, trying to catch up with the Zhi Ziyaduo in front of him in the distance. The deafening sound of drums, gongs, and suana blasts filled the sky. Zhi Ziyaduo said, "What is this place?" "Xiang Cheng." "Xiang Cheng." Zhi Ziyaduo looked back and saw Xiang Cheng in the back of the group. He was about to head over to him, but his body flew up uncontrollably. A strong suction force carried him up from the ground and into flight, following after the JIXIAN at the front of the procession, flying towards the sky behind them. While Zhi Ziyaduo looked down, a steady stream of cars were below his feet, all slamming past the glowing city, but the glowing ghosts went through the vehicles. A woman dressed in a kipao, a dying old man, students carrying books, everyone was glowing, flashing across his vision. Was this Halloween? Zhi Ziyaduo realized that there was a serious problem. Hadn't they just been in the inn inviting the JIXIAN? How were they outside now? He looked at his hands and saw that they had become almost transparent, and his entire body was glowing. "Oh, my God, I'm dead!" Zhi Ziyaduo turned to look, and just saw Xiang Cheng gesturing to him, indicating for him to not freak out. Zhi Ziyaduo was gasping for breath, but since he already was a ghost, he couldn't breathe, and his form kept freezing. The JIXIAN flew past the zenith, through the drums that were constantly beating, dragging thousands of souls behind it, including that of a glowing boss snake, all flying to the north. They landed in the ghost market, which overlapped with the forbidden city. There was something like a loud bang and the whole world trembled. That's when Zhi Ziyaduo's jaw dropped. He had previously seen the ghost festival drum and the procession of 10,000 ghosts towards the emperor in his study materials, but he had never imagined he would actually see one with his own eyes. At that moment, the forbidden city at night glowed like a pavilion from another world. Chen Zhen parked the car outside Chang'an Avenue, and Zhou Wanyuan got out. The two of them ran towards the forbidden city. Chen Zhen's mink flew up the red wall, flipped over, and disappeared. "Wait! Chen Zhen!" Kita was driving another car and bellowed over its intercom, "Let me apply for night enforcement clearance first." Instead of going near Jinshui Bridge, Chen Zhen went around to the back wall of the Forbidden City and climbed in by going over the outer wall of Zhongshan Park. "Don't be impulsive," Kita said over the communicator. "Kita," Zhou Wanyuan said, "the Forbidden Palace must be surrounded immediately." "Impossible," Chen Zhen replied succinctly, "we can't do that during the Ghost Festival." Kita said, "I've gotten passage clearance, we have to first find the JIXIAN." "Where are you?" Chen Zhen asked. "Outside the Meridian Gate," Kita replied. "Bring along Xiang Cheng's equipment, and figure out a way to get in. We'll meet up in front of the Fengtian temple. Chen Zhen said, then pulled a rope out of his bag and whistled. The mink stood on top of the red wall and looked down. While talking, Chen Zhen beckoned towards it. The mink flew down, took the rope, jumped on the red wall, and tied it to a railing. I'm not well, having run all the way over here. Chen Zhen was already out of breath and said to Zhou Wanyuan, I can't climb up. Zhou Wanyuan. Chen Zhen said, what to do? Can you do it? Or we can call Kita over. Will try. Zhou Wanyuan said, I'll piggyback you ba. Director Chen, you've sat in the office for too long, so you've become completely indolent, unable to do physical things ma. Zhou Wanyuan tried her best to jump up, climbing the wall with Chen Zhen on her back, but her feet couldn't help but slide under her. They flipped over from the other side of the palace wall. Which hall? Zhou Wanyuan asked. Check the GPS, Chen Zhen said. Zhou Wanyuan. The mink jumped down and ran. Chen Zhen said, follow it. Zhou Wanyuan screeched, follow what? There's nothing there. The mink turned a corner, and Chen Zhen gasped for breath as he showed the way and let Zhou Wanyuan go forward. The mink flew past through a hall, and as soon as Chen Zhen and Zhou Wanyuan turned the corner, they ran into a dark figure. Both sides started screaming. You scared me to death. Kita said with some lingering fear. You're the one who scared me to death, okay. Zhou Wanyuan roared. The mink ran along the overhanging eaves, and Kita, carrying Xiang Cheng and Chen Zhen's bags, ran while panting along. Chen Zhen didn't have the strength to run anymore and said, slow down, slow down. Compared to me, how can your strength be so? Zhou Wanyuan was about to cry. The heart lamp, Chen Zhen said, propping himself up with a pillar and gasping, the more it consumes my vitality, the worse my physical condition gets. Zhou Wanyuan, Gagantorura Kita. Piggyback him. No need, you guys just watch the path. Chen Zhen gasped. How far is it to Fengtian Temple? We're not there yet. Kita pulled Chen Zhen, and they stumbled along as they ran. There's about 1,000 meters left. 1,000 meters. Chen Zhen was about to spit out blood. The Forbidden City was shrouded in darkness. However, to Jixiaduo and Xiang Cheng's eyes, the distance was filled with a riotous profusion of colors. It was like a grand carnival in front of them. There were flying lanterns everywhere with the word ghost was written on the lanterns that lit up the entire Forbidden City. A hand gripped Jixiaduo's wrist, and Jixiaduo almost screamed. Looking back, he saw that it was a glowing Xiang Cheng. Jixiaduo. Xiang Cheng, shh. What's this? Jixiaduo whispered, we've become ghosts. Our souls were pulled out by the JIXIAN. Xiang Cheng replied, let's wait and see what happens. Can the JIXIAN see us? The JIXIAN stopped at a training field. Jixiaduo hesitated and said, I read in a book that in a non-dream state, whether it's Yao or devils, as long as they don't have yin-yang eyes, ghosts are all bodies of light in their perception, and they can't tell who is who. Xiang Cheng said, all right, don't be afraid. On the bright training field, many big pots with legs flew down from the sky. After landing, they ran along with their 3 legs towards the center of the Forbidden City, and ghosts poured into the Meridian Gate from all directions. Throughout the capital, the spirits that had left the heavenly veins on the Hungry Ghost Festival had now all gathered here. Jixiaduo and Xiang Cheng stood in their midst. Xiang Cheng tried to break through the bands of light suspended in the air on both sides of the crowd, but after trying a few times, he still couldn't get out. This should be a soul-binding chain, Jixiaduo said. It's magic used to restrain ghosts, don't touch it. Jixiaduo pulled Xiang Cheng, and they hid behind a big ghost. In the distance, a spirit-like dragon flew over with hundreds of ghosts on its back, shuttling between the red walls. That's Menpo soup. JIXIAN motioned for Xiang Cheng to look at the big pot running around the square and explained, that should be it. In the ghost month, a ghost's obsession is to go home to visit their relatives. Before returning to the heavenly veins, if they have any bad memories, they will drink a bowl of Menpo soup to discard those memories. Xiang Cheng said, who told you this? You know even more than an exorcist. I read it in a book. JIXIAN said, God, what a big strange bird. Xiang Cheng looked up at the Fei Tian temple and replied, that should be Menpo. JIXIAN nodded. He had never had a weirder experience in his life, and it was just like being in a huge and gorgeous dream. A huge bird stood in the middle of the Meridian Gate, wearing a cloak that covered its face. Its stretched out beak was several meters long and looked down at the ghosts. The running pots all gathered under its claws, and the ghosts began to shuffle through its feet. Will we be dragged to drink Menpo soup? JIXIAN saw another huge chariot which was tall as a building. It whistled past, running over the Meridian Gate and through the red wall, carrying countless ghosts, and there were many luminous spirits flying around it. Dong the giant beat the drum, and the earth trembled. What's the drummer? Xiang Cheng asked. Those two giants are the transformed Southern Dipper and Big Dipper. JIXIAN said, they will play drums every year on the night of the 14th day of the 7th month until the early morning. When the stars come out, the bell will ring and then the ghost festival will end. We must get back before dawn, Xiang Cheng replied. At this time, the JIXIAN group moved again, and the long line crawled under the stopped chariot wheel and passed through. I'll figure something out later. JIXIAN looked at the soul-binding chains on both sides and said, if we can cross it, then let's run ba. Fei Tian Temple was right in front of them. The procession rounded a corner and passed by rows of boiling cauldrons. There were more and more ghosts in the sky and on the ground, almost filling the entire square. No ghosts noticed this group. The scene was extremely shocking, with thousands of ghosts gathered in the front square of Noon Gate, and the sky was filled with lanterns. End chapter.